My name is Isidonie from Burundi, a CWFL fellow. I'm going to share with you a summary of my Capstone project on legal aid in Burundi, an impact assessment of activities performed by Burundi Women's Lawyers Association. 1. Problem identification. Laws and rights do not exist for the poor in most developing countries. To put the point in another way, they exist in theory, but not on the ground. Legal aid is necessary for making rights the reality in the living of the poor, because without legal aid, poor will never enter a courthouse or any other justice forum. In Burundi, legal aid sector is largely influenced by history. Since independence in 1960, Burundi has experienced crises and civil wars that did not allow the social and economic development of the population. The concern of the authorities was still searching for peace and social security. Today, as we conduct this study, Burundi is going through a crisis that started from April 2015 with demonstrations in some districts of the capital, Bujumbura, to challenge the third term of the current president of the republic. Consequences of this crisis are unpleasant at different levels, including in the legal field, where litigants cannot pay lawyers to assist them. The issue of legal aid is therefore based on the fact that there is a high demand for legal aid expressed by a population of marginalized people, while there is insufficient supply to meet these needs. This insufficiency is due to two major reasons. The first is that even if the state has the obligation to ensure access to justice for all citizens, it hardly fulfills its mission. In fact, the state does not provide legal aid services to the population in need. The other reason is that the civil society provider of legal aid services are few and are conducting remedial activities to malfunctions of the Burundian judicial system. Both local and international organizations have taken almost a monopoly on the legal aid sector. Their actions target on litigants considered particularly vulnerable as they use their own funds or external funding. Such organizations are few, as mentioned in a study by Lawyers Without Borders in 2011, which highlights this aspect. There are a few associations involving in legal assistance because it is very expensive and can reveal very little results. However, the contribution of this organization is crucial and has been recognized by the state as follows. Litigants receive legal aid and legal assistance for cases relating to sexual violence, torture, and vulnerability in some civil cases. This support, though it is very valuable, remains largely insufficient given the high number of litigants in extreme poverty. Many of these organizations focus their action on promoting access to justice, the rule of law, and human rights. As our case study, Burundi Women's Lawyers Association is one of them, providing legal aid services to help to secure effective access to justice. The purpose of this study is to analyze strategies and approaches of this association that allowed it to get to success and popularity within the population in the hope that other organizations will be inspired to improve the way they provide legal aid services. 2. Personal and professional experience. In her undertakings to ensure effective legal aid services in Burundi, the author is inspired by a scripture of the Bible in Isaiah 1:17 says, "Learn to do right, seek justice, encourage the oppressed, defend the cause of the fatherless, plead the case of the widow." It was like a calling for a Christian woman lawyer to help vulnerables in accessing justice. In fact, the author noticed a lot of injustice from her early childhood. She was born and grew up in a family of 5 children, among whom 2 boys and 3 girls. There was a difference in the treatment of girls and boys, either in their education or in the household task sharing. This is why there is a higher illiteracy rate for women than for men. The immediate consequence of this situation is that women ignore judicial procedures. The need for equitable treatment for children of different genders had always been a concern for the author, and that was the reason why she chose to do law at the university. After her degree, she has been recruited in the judicial sector as a prosecutor in Bujumbura province. That time, she realized how crucial free legal aid is for detainees in general and for women specifically, either detained or victim. Then, she has started providing legal aid advices to these women. But the legal advice provided to these women has proved insufficient, while there is a high need for legal assistance during the trial. That is the reason why she joined the Burundi Women's Lawyers Association, which is a highly qualified association to help women obtain justice. Her activism within the association has allowed her to be elected to the executive committee. Her experience in the management of the association allowed her soaking method and strategies to conduct an impact assessment of legal activities performed by this association. It is the author's view that the root cause of lack of access to justice for women is extreme poverty and high literacy rates. The poverty is in itself an injustice because they are the ones who cultivate the land and do the daily housework, but unfortunately, they harvest and benefit from the work are for the husband, who alone decides about the allocation. This is why the woman is most often poor and depends on her husband. In case the latter is victim of any form of injustice, she can't pay a lawyer to defend herself. This is why most of them come to Burundi Women Lawyer Association, which offers pro bono legal aid. Without its help, there is no other way for them to access to justice. 3. Resource review. In conducting her survey, The author fetched from various sources. Key resources persons shared with her their valuable insights of legal aid in sector of the context of Burundi. We can name, for example, the legal representative of the Burundi Lawyer Women Association, the Lawyers Without Borders legal officer in charge of supporting the human rights group and the most vulnerable by enhancing access to justice, the Commissioner to UN High Commissariat Office of Human Rights Empowerment towards leaders of civil society organizations. A diversity of documents relating to legal aid services were reviewed. They are including, but not limited to, international and national legal instruments, books and different authors of different authors who addressed the issues of legal aid. Burundi Lawyers Women Association's reports and the action plans of the same association. 4. Program response. The legal aid in Burundi is having some gaps that negatively affect it, such as 1. The crisis and the permanent insecurity with direct consequences that increases the need for legal aid. 2. The collapse of the judiciary, since justice is perceived as a corrupt, biased, and often an instrument that the government uses to restrain opponent rights. 3. The lack of qualified staff and financial and material resources. 4. Women and orphans in extreme poverty. 5. Ignorance of laws and legal procedures, especially by women. 6. No effectiveness planning and coordination framework for legal aid activities. 7. No efficient enforcement mechanism on the access to legal aid. Cultural barriers that hinder women to enjoy their rights. And last, most of the organizations providing legal aid services are located in Burundi, in Bujumbura, capital city. To fill in the gaps above, Burundi Women Lawyers Association has undertaken the following decision. Provides legal assistance to victims of human rights violation. 2. Prevents human rights abuses through denunciation of perpetrators. 3. Empowers the staff of the judiciary. Provides institutional and organizational backup to ensure human rights promotion and protection. Carries out public sensitization campaigns on relevant legal instruments, has put in place its own strategic plan to effectively address shortcomings in legal aid activities, collaborates with other organizations intervening in providing legal aid, puts in place legal clinics in remote areas, and trains paralegal to come in when there is a shortage of lawyers. If such responses are put into implementation by all organizations intervening in the legal aid sector, the latter would be developed and the number of beneficiaries of legal aid would increase as well. Thank you.